Brought to you by
Uganda is among the 174 countries that participate in the annual Congress of Parties of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change Conference, with this year's summit due to be held in Bonn, Germany. The main purpose of these conferences is for parties to assess progress in the dealing with climate change. During the same meetings, countries submit different environment projects which would attract donor funding. Although Uganda has been able to attract some funds, scientists say that more effort is still needed to pocket more funds.
So the thing we need to do is to develop our capacity to be able to raise proposals up to those amounts. And also our strategy is after you've submitted your proposal, technical assistance is given, you should be able now to roll into the private sector so that this can be translated into investments.
Paris Summit was the climax of years of governments committing to the fight against climate change. The Paris Accord saw countries commit to reducing current temperatures by 2 degrees by 2100. To accomplish that, each nation is set to own target for reducing emissions and is required to make annual updates to the Congress of Parties. Uganda is among the emitters of least greenhouse gases to the atmosphere. This is, however, expected to change by 2030 due to rapid industrialization, large-scale deforestation, as well as encroachment on wetlands. Experts argue this is the time to ensure that this scenario does not happen.
Goal of turning the temperature rise in the next 30 to 50 years is to limit warming of the planet to a maximum of 2 degrees centigrade, and even working collectively to reducing it further to a maximum limit of 1.5 degrees centigrade, which, according to scientists, is good for human beings to ensure we continue having access to our food security, the livelihood options, and all other related aspects of social transformation.
Reduction in greenhouse gas emissions is among the many measures that Uganda has already undertaken, among other actions to operationalize some of the relevant commitments under the agreement. The Paris Agreement is expected to bring sanity in the fight against climate change. But critics argue that carbon emissions by Uganda and other African countries are too little compared to developed countries. These maintain it is therefore improper to force Africa to have the same commitments as the developed world. But despite attending every Congress of Parties, what has Uganda benefited?
Almost $1 billion for the last 10 years from different donors to do climate change related work. You have heard they have received around $406 million from GEF, a global financing body for climate actions, since 1995.
Some scientists still feel that more effort is needed for negotiators to sharpen their skills so as to raise the bankable projects that can benefit from the available funds. The Paris Agreement faced a threat in June when new American President Donald Trump started the withdrawal process of America, the biggest emitter of greenhouse gases, arguing that the country had received a raw deal.
In order to fulfill my solemn duty to protect America and its citizens, the United States will withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord.
But how will this withdrawal affect the agreement?
They might think they're different, but we are in the same world, and they must know. So withdrawing actually is not there. On that they're saying they're not interested, but they cannot withdraw. The other administration of Obama was very clear on this position, that we need to do something.
Countries are expected to meet again later this year and make more commitments.
brought to you by